Hello everybody. The year 2024 became an extraordinary year for Muslims in China. Imagine, thousands of Chinese citizens who had previously never encountered Islam began to embrace the religion and join the rapidly growing Muslim community. Like an unexpected phenomenon, this massive wave was not only felt in major cities but also in small villages far from the centers of civilization. What's even more surprising is that every year, Muslims in China are becoming more active in their worship, especially during Ramadan. Not only that, the number of congregants attending Taraweeh prayers during this holy month has increased dramatically, and what's even more exciting, they are willing to perform prayers late into the night, with a passion that never fades. Many call this a spiritual awakening, signaling the enormous interest of society in learning about Islam. Of course, with the increasing number of worshippers, the need for adequate places of worship became inevitable. And this is where the miracle began to unfold. The mosques in various regions of China, especially in areas with large Muslim populations like Yunnan, Ningxia, and Xinjiang, now had to undergo significant transformations. For example, the Najiang Mosque in Neigu, Yunnan, underwent several expansions to accommodate the swelling number of worshippers. Even during Ramadan, this mosque is always filled with congregants from all directions, coming together to worship and share moments of togetherness. This change wasn't limited to Najiang. Across China, other places of worship underwent similar transformations. Buildings that were previously not well known have now been turned into mosques, providing comfortable spaces for congregational prayers, Quran reading, and various other religious activities. This process is a tangible testament to how Islam has spread and flourished in this vast land, bringing a new light to its growing community. This reflects the increasingly strong spirit of Muslims in China, full of enthusiasm and a desire to preserve their religious traditions amidst an advancing society. They are not just preserving their religious identity, but also showing that, even in a country with a different culture, they can still live in peace and harmony. Therefore, it is no surprise that 2024 became a silent witness to the rapid growth of Islam in China, as if transforming the social and cultural landscape of the country. This is the story of the journey of Muslims, shining brighter despite the challenges of an ever-changing era. Although the Islamic spirit in China continues to grow, not everything is smooth sailing. Behind this incredible wave of growth, there are significant challenges that Muslims must face, particularly the government's increasingly strict policies on religious practices. As we know, China is known for its highly centralized government and tight control over all aspects of its citizens' lives, including religion. In 2024, the Chinese government issued a series of new regulations that further limited the freedom of religious practice, especially regarding the expansion of places of worship. One of the key regulations put into place was that all religions, including Islam, must practice the core socialist values promoted by the government. What does this mean? It means that Islam in China must be practiced in a way that aligns with the country's vision and policies. The practice of Islam must reflect Chinese characteristics, that is, it must adhere to the culture and ideology embraced by the state. This is no small challenge. One of the biggest impacts of this policy is on the construction and renovation of mosques. Mosques that wish to expand or be built must go through a series of complicated and strict procedures. Even the architectural design of the mosque must conform to traditional Chinese styles, eliminating features commonly seen in mosques in other countries. The presence of minarets or other Islamic symbols, which are considered foreign to Chinese culture, may be removed or replaced with more Chinese designs, creating a dilemma for Muslims who wish to maintain their religious identity. There are more challenges to come. Religious institutions, including mosques, must obtain government approval before building or expanding worship facilities. In some cases, these permits are difficult to obtain, or existing mosques are forced to adapt to the new, stringent regulations. This naturally puts Muslims in China in a difficult position, yet they continue to strive to preserve their religion and identity amidst the pressure. However, despite the restrictions and regulations, Muslims in China continue to show their resilience. They do not give up in the face of harsh policies, but rather adapt to the changes without sacrificing their faith. Within the limited space, they continue to strive to preserve their religious traditions and identity, whether through religious education, celebrating religious holidays, or engaging in social activities that involve the entire community. While the government's strict policies may block certain forms of expansion, they have not dampened the spirit of Muslims in China. Some even refer to these challenges as a test that has further strengthened solidarity among them. In these limitations, Muslims have learned to be more creative in developing new ways to spread the teachings of Islam, ensuring that their community remains alive and continues to grow, despite the great challenges they face. Behind the strict policies and limiting regulations, Muslims in China demonstrate an extraordinary strength in preserving their identity and traditions. They not only struggle within the mosque but also play an active role in various social and cultural activities that further strengthen the position of Islam in China, both domestically and internationally. One of the most interesting aspects is how the Muslim community in China continues to strengthen interfaith relations and introduce moderate Islamic values through various festivals and cultural events. The China Muslim Festival, held annually, serves as an occasion for Muslims to showcase their cultural richness and traditions. This event is not only about religious celebration but also serves as a means to introduce Islam to the wider public, including non-Muslims. At this festival, there are art exhibitions, Muslim cuisine, and interfaith dialogues that show Islam in China is not something separate but part of the diversity in the country. More than just celebrating religion, this festival also functions as a bridge to build better understanding between communities. Muslims in China, particularly from the Hui ethnic group, often serve as a link between the Islamic world and the broader Chinese society. They have shown that Islam is not incompatible with Chinese culture but can live in harmony, enriching the local culture with the universal values brought by Islam. However, the role of Muslims in China doesn't stop there. They are also active in building international relations, especially with Muslim communities outside of China. The Muslim community in China is beginning to attract more attention from the international world, which supports their efforts to preserve religious freedom. These connections strengthen the solidarity network among Muslims worldwide and further affirm that Islam is not just a religion for one group but part of the global civilization that must be respected and preserved. Despite the restrictions, Muslims in China demonstrate creativity in developing new ways to spread the teachings of Islam. In several major cities, such as Beijing and Lebanon, Islamic learning centers have emerged, focusing on religious education and Quranic teachings. These centers provide spaces for Muslims from various backgrounds to gather and learn together. These activities not only strengthen the sense of togetherness but also give Muslims in China the opportunity to deepen their understanding of their faith. The creativity of Muslims in preserving their traditions is also evident in how they celebrate major religious holidays, such as Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. Despite facing restrictions, they still celebrate with joy, holding communal meals, sharing blessings with others, and inviting extended family to gather. This is proof that, despite the challenges, the spirit of togetherness and faith remains unshaken at the core of their lives. On the international level, the relationship between Muslims in China and the outside world is also growing stronger. Muslims in China are increasingly involved in international forums, discussing religious freedom, human rights, and fostering social and cultural cooperation between countries. This cooperation provides opportunities for Muslims in China to show that they are part of a larger global community that strives to live in peace and harmony despite the challenges they face.